Here's a question about the production possibilities curve and opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, of course, is the cost. It's what you give up to get something else. So, first of all, we're going to draw in the production possibilities curve. The question reads, Frances can read 20 pages of psychology in an hour. She can also read 50 pages of history in an hour. Okay. We've got psychology on this axis, number of pages read. History on this axis, number of history pages read. Now, it says she spends 5 hours per day studying. So, how many pages of psychology can she read in a day? Well, if she reads 20 pages of psychology in an hour, and she studies 5 hours, that would be 100 pages of psychology, right? So if she spent all her time reading psychology, she could read 100 pages. Now, how about history? Well, she can read 50 pages of history in an hour, spends 5 hours a day studying, reading. So if she does nothing but history, how many pages can she read? Well, 5 times 50, 250. Okay. There's our production possibilities curve for Frances. Now the question goes on and says, what is the opportunity cost of reading 150 pages of history? Okay, what does she have to give up? Well, let's start with 0. Let's say she's reading 0 pages of history, and she's going to read, well, let's say 150 is right there. If she reads 150 pages of history, that means she will be able to read, and then the graph in the question labels this as 40. If she chooses this point, reading 150 pages of history is choosing this point right here. That allows for her to read 40 pages of psychology. So what is the opportunity cost of those 150 pages of history? Well, going from 0 out to 150 requires that she would therefore have to go from 100 down to 40 pages of psychology. So she gave up how many pages of psychology? From 100 down to 40? That is 60 pages of psychology. So she gave up 60 pages of psychology. All right? So there's her opportunity cost.